What is going on, YouTube? It is your old pal, Matt, the Rhino, look at my clue cards. Matt, the Rhino Prophet. We are coming to you live one more time from Mercurio's Bar and Grill in downtown Heights Point, Kentucky. And today I am honored, and I have the distinct privilege and a distinct honor to have my neighbors, my good friends, my fellow musicians, Mr. and Mrs., or should I say the front Mr. and Mrs. of the band The Rumors out of Salisbury, Indiana, Jeremy and Becky Seabold.
Hello, everyone.
We have arrived. So I know we were talking around the holidays about having you all here on RHINOTalk, and I was wanting to interview you guys for the longest time at a fan request. First off, who exactly are The Rumors? Let's start with how you guys got your start, and why the name of The Rumors?
The Rumors started well before me or Beck were ever in it. There were four dudes. There was Rob, John, Sam, and John. And they, two of them went to Providence. They needed a guitar player and they needed a bass player, and that's where Bile and that's where Powers came in. And when The Rumors first started, they did cover music to pay the bills, but they were actually an original band. Released 3 CDs or records, and nobody knows how the name The Rumors happened. Everybody that's ever been in The Rumors, nobody knows. So it was probably one of those four at there's a place called Polyfreeze in Indiana. That's an ice cream joint.
I'm sure I'm familiar with it, as are our fellow Hoosiers.
And they would practice and then go there. So I'm sure at some point that's where that happened. But nobody really knows how we have the name The Rumors.
That could be a good, if I may suggest, that could be a good rumor on how the name came to be. If I may. I know some of the stuff I've seen as far as our website goes, The Rumors, and your Facebook page. You mentioned that your style of music is one of the topics on here that fan request was that you guys, one of your influences was Fleetwood Mac as well as Stevie Nicks. A few of our fans would like for you to comment on that if you wish to. So,
here's the funny thing about being named The Rumors. Everybody automatically thinks we play a ton of Fleetwood Mac stuff. We, to this day, do not play one single Fleetwood Mac song.
That was going to be my, that was actually going to be my next question. I had a friend of mine view your YouTube channel, and he said he couldn't find anything that you guys did Fleetwood Mac was, because originally some of the following of masses that I was talking to about this, leading up to this point, thought I was going to be interviewing a tribute band for Fleetwood Mac. Ladies and gentlemen, I can confirm it. You heard it here first. That those rumors have been proven false. You heard it here, folks. Let's see. Let's enter the subject. Who have, like professionally, we're talking big name. Who have been your biggest influences of being a band? Becky.
Some of my favorites are like Tom Petty. I love Tom Petty. Joan Jett, love her. Dolly Parton, she's fantastic. Just kind of like old school rock and country. That's who kind of does it for me anyway.
And I know you do. You all play some country. I know Becky, you're proficient in the fiddle. You're mainly, Jeremy, you're mainly on vocals, is that correct? I mean,
I play some guitar, but I don't do it very well.
Some guitar, but he doesn't do it very well. It's like me when I play the drums. I know there's a set of congas back there. Those are not mine, by the way, as I said in my last video. But since we're on the subject of instruments, I know this is going to be my next key part here. What's your all's favorite instruments to play, and Do you all have a favorite instrument that you took lessons in growing up? It's a two-part question, I know, right?
Growing up, I played the violin. I started playing the fiddle when I was 3, and I was trained classically. And then also my family had a bluegrass band, so I played bluegrass my entire life as well. So it's just kind of second nature at this point. I also took piano lessons because my career that I was going to do was be a violin teacher. And then that kind of got derailed because kind of got burnt out a little bit. But now that I'm older and in the rumors, actually my favorite instrument to play are neither of those. It's the bass. I really like playing the bass.
Speaking, I know, Jeremy, I know you said you can play guitar, and this question is actually for you, actually. What musician, well, not musician, if I may backtrack, what instrument do you have experience in, especially learning?
The first instrument I ever learned was drums.
Myself a drummer, I appreciate that.
My parents rented me a set of drums. That was a debacle. It was very loud and I wasn't very good at it. And then my brother, while I was learning how to play drums, or how I was learning how to bang on them anyway, he picked up a guitar. And growing up, me and my brother had a very competitive nature. And so my focal point went straight to off of drums onto guitar, just because I wanted to be better than him on a guitar, and that's what led me to playing a guitar.
Now I know this question's not on here, but I have to ask. Do you think we can have a challenge between you and your brother to this day and see who the best one is?
He wants no part of me anymore.
Somebody's not getting Christmas present this year, right? I got no idea who your brother is. Somebody's in trouble. Career history, or should I say history, other than your career, this is everyday life. Where are y'all from? I know you guys are originally out of Sellersburg. Where are y'all from, and how long have y'all been married?
I started in Clarksville, that's where I grew up, and then moved to Sellersburg, moved to other places, but during the day I'm a special ed teacher. That's what I do.
That was going to be my next question. I know you both are education teachers. Becky, you're a teacher, aren't you?
Yeah, I teach 2nd grade. We actually teach at the same school together, so that's fun. And then I grew up in New Albany, lived there my whole life. Moved to Sellersburg when we got together, and now we live in Charlestown.
That's one heck of a love story. And I would like to switch to the background a little bit. Speaking of Charlestown, I know you both are neighbors, my mother and I, up in the River's Edge community on a place along the Ohio River, on Vulcan Road at the boundary between Elizabeth, Indiana, I believe, is in Charlestown. This topic that my mother wanted me to ask you is technically called what was your day jobs? We already covered that. River life and river people. First of all, what do y'all like to do touching everyday life? What do you like to do outside of teaching music? Like hobbies, interests, favorite locations?
We really like to travel. Anytime we can take, we have 2 daughters. Anytime we can go somewhere new, we try to take them everywhere. We have a map that we scratch off the states that we go to. So our goal is to get all those states scratched off. So it's one of our favorite things.
What about you, Jeremy?
I'm a nerd, so I collect old toys.
So am I.
I collect comic books. What else do I do? The cool thing about river life is that if you would have asked 18-year-old Jeremy or 18-year-old Becca, would you have ever lived on the river, to where the chances of the Ohio that's, because when you don't live on it, you're taught to, it's dangerous, don't touch it, it's dirty, nothing is good about it, and so that's one of the things that we had to overcome, and it took about 30 seconds for us to do that. But river life is fun, and going out on the boat and hanging out, doing all that stuff, that's fun.
Speaking of river life, before I go any further, is there anyone up there in the river, especially and primarily, or you'd like to give a shout out to?
All of them. It is one of the coolest communities I've ever lived in, of how everybody likes each other, everybody waves, everybody will help one another. Everybody will have a beer with everybody, or a Coke, or whatever your choice is. There's really not that much of drama that happens in other neighborhoods that I've lived in previously, so that's kind of cool. So shout out to all of the Rivers Edge people.
I also like to give a shout out to not just the Rivers Edge people, but the Bushman's Lake community, our neighboring community. Rivers Edge community, Ronnie Stone, everybody in that community, and then our neighbors in Bushman's Lake. Shout out to you guys. And speaking of Bushman's Lake, you all mentioned, and almost texted you earlier in the week. This is about your band gigs upcoming. Is there a website or a Facebook page where you go and find like your schedule or appearances?
Yes, we have a website. It's therumors.net. I don't know why we couldn't get a .com, but maybe we're cheap and we're just a net. I don't.
Well, you'll get an order from me. So rumors.net. You'll find a list of their appearances coming up for the 2024 season. However many they are, I have not looked yet. But the only two that I'm actually aware of are the appearances on the 4th of July weekend, and is it Memorial Day or Labor Day? You're going to be at Summers.
I don't know. Here's the problem with booking this far out is that we've got a New Year's Eve gig coming up, and we haven't got through that. And so we start to book 2024 about 6 to 8 months in advance. So a lot of those shows that we have booked that are coming up are so far in the past that I don't remember doing them. So thank goodness there's a Google Calendar that tells me where to go and when to go and all that good stuff.
And as a musician, in the band I play in, shout out to Mike Bush and the All Stars again. I personally, as far as scheduling goes, I get it. And especially scheduling in advance. I normally, when my art shows come on, I schedule those maybe at least a minimum 90 days prior. It's like looking ahead and making sure you're available that day. So, but I would also like to mention that I have seen you guys play. I've seen you guys play at 2 different venues actually, mainly at Summers on the River, and then most recently, I think it was back this past spring, my mother and I saw you all play at the Derby City Gaming on, I believe it's Preston. I get Preston and Dixie confused. I know it's out there on a popular level. But I must say you guys have a great following. And I'm trying to convince, like you and I were talking before a video, I'm trying to convince Matt McCuro, the owner of this restaurant bar venue, to get you guys to play here. Let's see, where are we? Let's see. Go back and look at my notes. Have you all ever, like, other than performing, and this is from the spectator's point of view, have you all, what is the, that's what, let me backtrack. Set-wise, how long are your sets usually, like how many songs per set?
Typically we try to play a 3-hour show, which means, so like for example, it would be like 8 to 11, or something like that. And then we play music for that, and we play 22 songs, and we never stop. We don't talk, we don't tell jokes. It's one song ends, one song goes, and then we take a 15-minute break, and then it happens again. We try to make it as concert-y as you can, and that was a Rumors philosophy well before we joined, and we took that even in previous lives of bands that we played in before. We stole that idea from the original guys on the Rumors, and because we just don't have anything good to say. Nobody is there to hear me talk about politics or the weather or wrestling of that week or anything else that we watch. They're there for us to play music, so that's what we do.
And as a wrestling fan, I appreciate that and I respect that. And that's something that should not be talked about or played some fun is politics. So I get your point. You pretty much answered my next question was, are you guys, actually my next couple of questions, how many original members of the band are left, and how many were there before you guys got there? Which, I don't know if you guys can comment on that.
So here's the weird thing about the Rumors are knocking on 30 years of playing. Our lead guitar player, John Bile, has been there since day one, and he's the last remaining original guy. I was neighbors with one of the other people who formed it, who was Rob Marlin, and he quit 4 years ago?
2020.
2020-ish, something like that, 3 or 4 years ago. And so, but the neat thing about it is that our drummer, Jerry McBroom, he's in it for 15 to 20 years, something like that, collectively. I think I'm in 8 or 9 years, you're in 1 year less than I am. And
That was going to be my next question was, how long have you all been with the Brewers? So,
it feels like about 30 years is what I've been in it.
but then again, you're not guys around already.
It's true. But it's been a fun. The fun thing about playing and doing it is that we don't do it on purpose, but we get to play different places almost every year. We have some staples that we play every year, like Captain's Quarters here in Louisville is one. We play in the Blind Squirrel, but then we do these events and stuff like that. But every year doesn't seem to be the same thing. We always are bumped, which should happen for events. We shouldn't play an event every year. We get stale even if we learn 50 new songs a year. There's a staleness that happens for that. So it's good to actually be able to jump from event A to event B in between years and then come back and kind of make a full circle with it.
Since you're on the subject of material as far as being stale, I got a couple fan request questions that I have to ask you. Let's see which one's so. What's your all's favorite song that you like to perform? That was the first one.
My favorite song is one that we haven't done in a while. Our guitar player John just recently beat cancer, throat cancer, which is amazing.
John,
Shout out to John. Congratulations.
Congratulations, John. Congratulations on the road. I'm praying for you, brother.
And he sings it, and it's "Start Me Up" by the Rolling Stones. That's my favorite one. So I'm looking forward to when we get that back in the rotation. That's my favorite.
We're actually putting it in for New Year's and nobody knows. So,
Well, do me a favor. If you guys find someone with a camera, get that on film. I will not be able to make that gig because I'm going to be seeing some of our colleagues down at, I think it's Vernon Lanes. I recently won a package to see Most Wanted. Shout out to Most Wanted for drawing my name as the winner for that New Year's Eve package at Vernon Lanes. But if you guys can get that video, if you're send it to me to perform that song. If anybody's going to be there, get that video, send it to me or post it on my Facebook. But let's see. What song do you guys perform the most as far as
song-wise?
Song-wise.
I
know Brian Grazer's back there doing me. I'll give it you in a little bit. So
we're used to it.
I think he's doing that to me. But
one of the the cool thing that I do with the set list, or at least I think it's cool, I probably should, maybe everybody hates it that's in the band, but we don't play the same show twice. And what I mean by that is we'll play a show and then I keep that set list, and if we come back to that venue, we try to shuffle up as many of those songs as possible to where it's a different experience every time. If we play a Friday and a Saturday, we try not to play songs. So we might play 2 different shows on 2 different nights. But probably the song that we have played the most is probably Devil Went Down to Georgia. That or Cotton Eye Joe, because she plays the fiddle.
And I love both of them. If it's not one, it's the other. My top 10 all-time favorite songs, both are pretty near the top. It's not even a top 10 anymore. It's more like a top eternally long list. As far as song requests, I do have a song request that I like to personally make when I got you on camera. If y'all do any Dave Matthews, I suggest looking at that. I would like to suggest Ants Marching for the Under the Table and Dreaming album.
I'm in. I can do it.
It actually,
this second.
It actually,
That's my favorite band of all time.
He's our favorite.
I was thinking about maybe they could do it. I know it has a great fill in it.
Yes.
Something I would like to request for maybe a future gig. Let's see. I know you guys mentioned your website. Do you all have any videos out there on YouTube or a YouTube channel?
We do have a YouTube channel, and it's not very good because I'm the one that does it and I don't know what I'm doing.
No judgment.
But one of the things is we take a GoPro
Yeah.
and we like set it down and it like shines and we do that stuff, and then that's kind of what I edit it. And if we mess up, I obviously take that out, which happens a lot, so we don't get a lot of good footage from time to time.
Well, you'll get no judgment from me. You'll get no judgment from anybody in here. Other than performing from a spectator's point of view, what's the best concert you all have ever attended, like act-wise and venue-wise?
My favorite venue to go to is it's every year, and it's to go see Dave Matthews at Deer Creek. It's up in Indy. What's it called now?
Ruoff, yes.
It's been called 19 different things, but it's always Deer Creek to me. And that's, as we were sitting here eating lunch, my friend that goes with me, and that's another couple, Scott and Nikki, they actually booked the hotels for like 4 weekends that are supposed to be around. So we get the hotel that's close, and it's actually a pretty big to-do for us to go. It's the only thing I'll flip-flop a show for. There's not much that I will I don't cancel because I don't like canceling a show, but it's the only thing that I'll beg and please on bended knee to switch to a different day so we can go on Creekend.
I greatly understand that. Has there ever been a venue where you actually had been forced to cancel due to weather? Like, let me rephrase that. As far as an event or a gig you were looking forward to doing the most per year that you hated to cancel but had to do with weather, when exactly was it? So.
We are very lucky here of late, probably within the last, I don't know, probably since COVID, we haven't had to cancel via weather for maybe less than 5% of shows. So we haven't had to run into that.
I remember the last one it was, and it was probably, I remember the last show we had to cancel, and it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. We played an event called the Judah Festival, and it's this awesome event. And we got there, and it just started pouring down rain, lightning, thunder, and it stinks because it's such a fun event. And so, luckily, we came back the next year and was able to play it. But that kind of stuff.
Well, that's good. I know there's been events where weather has impacted it, but that can also be a good thing. I'm not sure if you guys remember the Super Bowl back in 2007 when Prince did, and Matt McCarroll was my guest on the last show. We actually touched base on this when we mentioned that weather would be a good thing in shows. Like he closed with Purple Rain, and I'll tell you the truth. I watched that at home, but you just had to witness it because the very moment, the very first chord, the very exact moment that first chord was struck, the rain, it was already raining like steady, but then the rain came down and it came down hard. And he also, him and I both agreed that it was actually more like a religious experience. And I'll tell you guys personally, I watched it. Here I am, I'm getting ready to graduate from high school. I'm a junior in high school and I am crying. Literally tears of pure happiness because masterpiece was music. It didn't get much better than that. Especially God had plans for that show, but it was so pretty. But I like to close by just asking you guys a couple of if I get my note cards, I'll say here. Here it is. I want to thank you guys for coming out. And if you guys care to, can you comment when your next the name, a time, and location of your New Year's Eve gig?
We are playing in Madison at the Fairfield Inn. It's a cool venue. It's a hotel. It's an old cotton mill that they remodeled and redid, and now it's a hotel. It's beautiful. So unfortunately, it is sold out, but it'll be a fun night. We'll go and celebrate bringing the new year.
Well, that pretty much answers all my questions. Jeremy, Becky, it has been an honor. I thank you guys for joining me. I was really looking forward to making this happen. I'd also like to give a big shout out to Matt, who's not here today, and he is the owner of Mercurio's Music Resto Bar, of this awesome venue, which is formerly the Pizza Place in downtown Hikes Point. I'd also like to give a shout out to some of the patrons that are here today. Coach Mike McGarry, I know you're over there. Rick, Brian, Katrina behind the bar, I heard that, Brian. Miss Elaine over here, who's one of the management. And I would also like to ask those of you who are here to take care of your bartenders. And again, rumors.net. And with that, I would like to close by saying thank you guys again. I am the Rhino, Matthew Prophet. For those of you who don't know who I am on YouTube, The Artful Rhino. Like, comment, subscribe, and if there's any questions you'd have for me to ask the band, comment below and I'll give it them in a week or two. So with that being said, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we are out of here.